Hey everybody, today is May the 5th, I think. Yep, May the 5th. I'm here with my little buddy, my counselor, my psychotherapist, Buddy. Buddy loves me. Buddy listens to me unconditionally. Right, Buddy? Yep, thank God. That's what I say. Thank God for Buddy. Right, Buddy? But pay attention. You're supposed to be listening to me. Yeah, you. Yeah. Anyway, these videos that I'm putting on my YouTube personal channel, Joe Karam, are basically practice videos. I'm trying to do some YouTube videos that are on a different channel, possibly called Narc Stories. And so I'm practicing a little bit. I've been actually referring to YouTube and various people on there, all the how-tos, and they tell me I should practice for about, I don't know, as long as possible. So these videos are typically not planned, they're ad-libbed, they're just random thoughts and directions that my mind is going in. And in the future, however, I will be trying to plan these videos and script them out, if you will, have maybe just one topic, keep the video short and concise. But really the intent is I'm going to share my stories to try to get other people to share their stories, because this is called Narc Stories. And I hope that other people who are in my situation or similar situations, like codependency with a narc, that would be a narcissist, and how life is. How's it been for you? How's it been working out for you? So how about since the day you were born? Was there narcs when you were a child, like mom or dad or siblings or aunts or uncles and so on? And I know that narcissists can take many different forms, if you will. There's various levels, and narcissism isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's like, sometimes it's a motivation. It's a way people achieve, if you will, what they want to achieve. And so you'll see many, I hate to say it, attorneys that seem to be very narcissistic. You'll see many actors and actresses who get on the stage and they seem to have some kind of narcissism going on. And you see a lot nowadays in politicians. And I hate to admit it, but a lot of policemen seem to have various levels of it as well. And that's just some. I mean, people fall into certain categories, and based upon their ego and their level of narcissism, where do they want to be in life on the structure? On the hierarchy would probably be a better word. And the unfortunate thing is, even though narcissism at certain levels is not a bad thing, it can even be a good thing. When somebody gets pathological and like psychotic, basically, and then you get into levels of that too, and it's hard to diagnose this stuff. Even I was going through it my entire life, and I had no clue that this word narcissism existed. And I hate to admit that. I heard it from time to time. I kind of knew what the definition was, and because it's a word that gets thrown around. At least over the decades for me, hey, that person's a narcissist. What the fuck's a narcissist? Well, he's got a huge ego. Well, so what? And in my lifetime, now that, in hindsight, I have a better definition of what maybe a pathological narcissist is, and I could see how certain, particular people, mostly in careers, in business, at work, on the job, it's the most astounding thing how people can end up in a leadership position and be a cruel human being, basically be a narcissistic human being, somebody who is only in that position because they have a huge ego that needs to be satisfied, or They just like controlling other people. And, again, that could be all fine. The means and the ends, it all works out to a degree. But how do you go about it? Do you hurt other human beings or animals to achieve your end? It might not even be to achieve the end that the company wants, but you got people convinced that it will. And then your means of doing that is because you as the narcissist don't even know really what the means to the end is. You'll find other people to accomplish maybe what you can't do, people that know more than you, which again is not bad in itself, but it's how you go about it. Are you going to hurt people as you go up the ladder? Are you going to deceive people in order to get up the ladder? Are you going to take other people's ideas, give yourself credit, and then fear that other person who is maybe smarter than you might try to edge you out, so therefore you better get rid of them now? And then what are the things that you do to make that happen? You go to the higher ups, say this person's guilty of this, guilty of that, they're really stupid, or they got this problem and that problem. And this is a whole topic on its own, and because I've had a few of those bosses before, and I've seen the chaos and the misery that they cause within a professional environment. And the bosses, the people that maybe own the company or the people that make the final decisions, have no clue what's really going on. They just think they were sold a bill of goods, because a lot of narcissists are great salesmen. They were sold a bill of goods saying, hey, I can solve your problem. The managers there now cannot solve your problem. I can solve your problem. Put me in that position, and I will whip people into shape. Sometimes you have to whip them. And the owner of the company might be a passive guy and say, yeah, I guess you're right. I probably need somebody with a whip. And before you know it, people are quitting, people are getting fired, people are suing over harassment, various kinds of harassment. It ends up being a very unhappy, hostile work environment. And the boss who hired this dumbass doesn't know what's going on, because really the only person he's talking to is the narc. And it's really sad. And this happens all the time. This happens in the White House. This happens everywhere. Like I see it in hospitals with doctors and nurses. That you have a doctor who's thinks he's God's gift, and the nurses have to cater to that doctor. And a lot of times the nurses, they know more than the damn doctor does. And when they suggest something, maybe a correction to something, or bring something up that might embarrass somebody like the doctor, those people are immediately disposed of and gaslit and so on. So I don't even know what got me on that tangent, except this is a practice video, and I don't know that anybody will ever see it. I did one a few days ago, and I just posted it to YouTube yesterday as a way to practice putting it on YouTube. And I mentioned some people's names, and just their first names, and so I hope nobody ever hears that or sees it. But I'll just say that those names were fictitious names, even though maybe they weren't. But it is what it is. That's exactly what a narc would say, huh? It is what it is. It be what it be. But in any case, I had a lot of shower thoughts, if you will, and unfortunately showerthoughts.com is already taken, because I could have really used that one and made something out of that. But every day I have these thoughts when I'm in the restroom getting ready, playing some of this soothing music, relaxation, meditative music. But specifically when I get into the shower, and then after the shower, it's like my mind just goes somewhere else, and I just think and I think and I think. And, as I've said before, I swear to God, the first thoughts that come into my mind every single morning, my entire life practically, is the thought of a particular narcissist that's made my entire life miserable. And again, I never would have thought that this person could be a narcissist. I just didn't think that way. Anybody else that behaved in the same manner, I would have eliminated out of my life. I would have stepped away, said bye. But this person I can't seem to do that with. And I think a lot of us codependents or highly sensitive people, aka empaths, we fall into this trap. And it's like we don't want to believe that somebody could treat us this way. But they do. And so every morning when I wake up, it's like, oh God, there it is again. What's going to happen today? What shoe is going to drop? What hammer is going to drop? What's going to happen? That phone's going to ring. Oh, fucking duck. So, I said fuck, and I'm sorry about that if that offends anybody, but usually when somebody can't seem to tolerate that word and they tell me I ought not to say it, for some reason I say it more. Even that particular narcissist I was just referring to, just as a side note, has heard me say that a couple of times and has gotten all over my case. It's almost like a redirection, misdirection, whatever you want to call it. The conversations about this, the F word gets injected, and all of a sudden the whole conversation is now changed. And I'm sure you guys can relate to that. And the funny thing is, my biggest pet peeve is hypocrisy. And it's amazing how the people that tell you can't do something, they actually are guilty of doing that same exact thing. And this person is. And I've heard it, and other people have heard it as well. Yet, that's okay. Why? Because it's them. So, I try to limit it, but it might slip out from time to time. I hope I'm not judged by it. If it really bothers you, I'm just going to put a disclaimer in right now. I do say it from time to time. It just slips. Probably because it's a natural stress relief word. And I need all the stress relief I can get. And if that little word helps me, then so be it. Fuck you. Just kidding. So the last thing I need is people judging me like a narcissist would do, and people putting limitations on me like a narcissist would do. And believe me, I got plenty of narcissists in my life that try to control my strings and pull my strings on a daily basis. One just texted me now as I'm looking at this camera on the phone, and she hates it when I say the F word or any other word that's a cuss word, and tries to correct me. And I swear it just seems to slip out a little bit more. I don't understand it when somebody tries to correct me, and I develop an attitude towards that person. But the funny thing is, even though the older I get, the more I have choices that I realize I can make that I didn't realize before. I still choose just to hang in there with these people and tolerate them. That's the key word, I guess, tolerate. And I was told that at one time I can't even say tolerate because that's, I guess, racist. So it seems like in the last decade, pretty much everything I say is politically incorrect. They always find something. I think it's just that I'm an old white male, so by default I'm a racist. Therefore, I could say something that somebody else could say, and when they say it, it's not racist or negative or politically incorrect. But when I say it, because I'm an old white male, it's automatically deemed to be racist or politically incorrect. But in reality, I just don't care, and so I'm not being a racist, and because I don't really care. People tell me I'm a really racist, and I try to analyze that, and I just, what the f are they talking about? And then that same person who happened to be a teacher, and I went back to school 3 years, 4 years ago, and studied all this mental health psychology stuff. And it was a damn teacher that said, well, there's two kinds of racism, and there's intentional and unintentional, and unintentional is worse than intentional. I mean, what the f are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense to me, but in her mind, in her world, and she's a professor who happens to be a female, who happens to be black, and I get the funniest feeling happens to be a few other things, and which I really don't care, but because of her point of view, her perception, just judging me by my skin color and my age and my gender, she's coming to conclusions that maybe other people wouldn't come to. So it's fascinating to me, really. It's fascinating. And in fact, the lady that just texted me here, I'm still looking at her text there. It's like the other day I asked her, I said, she's different, and I'm trying to be careful with my words here because you never know. But I asked her, like, why do you want to hang out with me? Why do you call me up and want to do lunch? No, because you're available. Well, that kind of took me back. I had to think about that. Am I available? Now, is that a sign of a narcissism or a narcissist? Is that the sign of narcissism by a narcissist? And meaning her, taking advantage of the fact that I somehow make time for her. And so she asked me, well, why do I hang out with her? Why do I accept her invitations? Well, I didn't know. It wasn't because she was available, that's for sure. I don't call her. I don't ask her out. Very seldom, anyway. But I said because she's fascinating. And I you know what? It took me a while to search for those words. I thought of Spock on Star Trek. Fascinating. And she liked it. She, what's so fascinating? Well, the fact that, this and the fact of that. You know what? She's a narcissist. She just tries to hold it back. When I told her I had taken a sudden interest in narcissism, she got real quiet. But I'm beginning to think that a lot of narcissists fit in similar categories. I'm seeing, like David Icke would say, connecting the dots here. I'm seeing similarities between various groups of people. And like she is a full-blown socialist, leftist. She's a doctor in psychology. So she's a psychologist. She was in charge of a school, like a principal or a dean or something, and had her own psych practice. And a lot of times anybody that's in a professor job for some unknown reason, they tend to lean to the left, way left, and everything's got to be done their way, and they teach to the pupils their perceptions, their point of views, rather than just what's in the book. They got to inject their perspective on things, which might be, political, unfortunately. So, I don't think that's the job of a teacher. But just by me saying that probably means I'm a racist. But in any case, she's a little white lady. She's about, 11 years, 12 years, whatever, older than me. And we met when I was doing like a class project for one of my mental health classes. And I guess she took a liking to me. But I'm not one to reach out very often. So the most I reach out is doing these videos. I'm reaching out to me right now because I'm doing this video without any idea that anybody else could ever watch this video except for me. So it's just me and me to me. I'm the observer of myself. So anyway, I don't know. Did I cover some good shit there or not? Is it stimulating? Is it something that you can relate to, you being anybody else? And if so, please let me know. You know, there's the comment section below. There's a little thumbs up button, thumbs down button, and you know, so you can subscribe to my channel. and push the little bell thing, and that way I can wake you up in the morning with a new thought, a new morning thought. Just don't try to visualize me in the shower while I'm thinking. I might disturb your thoughts about my thoughts. So, in any case, you know, I do try to inject some humor. Some days I am not in the mood at all. I'm in a very down and out negative mood. Other days, you know, things are just better. But you know, these YouTube gurus say that you need to be more confident and have more energy and be more upbeat and smile and basically take acting lessons. And well, I'm not going to do all that. It's too much work. So I'm just going to be me, and me means sometimes I don't smile. In fact, most of the times I don't smile. Me being me means sometimes the F word slips out. Me being me means I have opinions that might be different than yours or other people, which is supposed to be a good thing. And I'm not trying to upset people. I'm not trying to offend people, but people don't seem to care if they offend me. I don't really get offended, but I've decided in the last couple of years, since the people I've been meeting through my internships and school seem to get offended by me. Hell, maybe I should try it. And those are stories I could share at another point, but if I can remember that far. But in any case, it's a beautiful day today. I had my little buddy. He's I don't know where he went, but he's probably laying under the table right now. And I am really, really blessed by God and thankful for the grace of God that I can actually physically get up in the morning when I barely can. And I say that because it is really hard for me to get up in the morning. It's like the worst part of my day is getting up in the morning. And even today, and then I was thinking today, well, you know what? There's other people that just physically cannot get out of bed and walk to the bathroom. Suddenly I was feeling better, and it's funny how that works. You know, it's like Tony Robbins says, you got to change your state of mind, and it's hard for me to do. It's hard for all of us to do when we're always being crushed by the enemy, which is supposed to be our superhero. But it can be done. It can be done. It's done all the time. We don't have to go and jump off a bridge, teach somebody a lesson. No. Life is to be lived. Life is to be experienced. Life is a journey. Life is gonna be over. You don't have to force it to happen, prematurely. These are all trials and challenges, and it's just part of the process. And I know you've heard before, because there's all kinds of processes. Work the process. What is it that I'm supposed to learn from this? Doesn't mean you have to take shit. Oh shit, I said shit. Doesn't mean you have to take stuff from, mean people, mean-spirited, evil, narcissistic people. It's just you have to choose your battles. You have to choose how you handle it. What can you do at that moment? Can you just walk away? Can you think of other things? Tune them out? Can you move away? Or are you stuck in a trap? Because many of us, me included, we're stuck in a freaking trap. That trap is really inside our heads, but it can go further than that. It could be a financial dependence trap. Governments love to use it on their people. And that's one of the groups I'm referring to that's similar to narcissists. And it's seen and done all the time. But we're so blind and we look the other way. No, the government, they love us. They love us. They want to redistribute wealth, which means I'm going to get something for free. We need the government because they'll protect us. And so what if we have to give up all of our rights and liberties? We have the government there. The government never turns on its people, right? I mean, you can see that throughout history. Yet, for some reason, they do. Moms and dads, the benevolent superheroes of our lives, they would never turn on their kids. Yet, you could experience as a codependent or a victim a lifetime of torture from somebody that's supposed to love you and take care of you and help you, assist you, be there for you, listen to you. It'd be the one last living person on earth. When everybody else ditches you, you would think your mom or your dad would be there for you. Which is really what this Narc Stories is about. I mean, if I had to narrow the niche, I can't say niche because that's another word I'm not allowed to say. Niche, it has to be niche, because there's always the same person. That lady I was just telling you about, I have to say niche because it really seems to bother her if I don't say it correctly. And the niche is, basically being trapped by somebody you actually do love, that you just would assume and expect that would love you. I mean, like even a wife, you would assume and expect. But, both those words cause issues, don't they? Assuming things, he makes an ass out of you and me, because he just assumed, and you had every right to assume it, but what do you learn from that? And then expectations. I know for a fact when I don't have expectations or assumptions, I'm a happier person because less things upset me. A person I would just assume would love me, or I would expect to love me, or have respect for me, or courtesy towards me, or but they don't. Well, now it's like, well, I have no expectations, and if this doesn't work for me, I can walk the other way, run the other way. But it's difficult to do, like I said, when you're in a financial trap. And there's lots of narcissists that pull you into a financial trap, just like the government does. They make you give up everything. You see this all the time. Like men do this to women all the frickin' time. You see classic examples of that, and I'm not picking on the men, because women are jumping on the bandwagon. And they take everything you got, little by little, by little, by little, by little. They suck the energy out of you. That term, succubus. And pretty soon you don't have anything. And once they realize you don't have anything, pow, they come in for the kill. It's really fucking sad. Because by then you've lost anybody else that might have helped you out of this situation. Everybody else is gone. All your siblings and friends, and you're not allowed to talk to anybody, and you can't have any money, you can't buy anything, you can't have any freedom, you can't express yourself, you can't get on a computer, you can't get on your cell phone, you can't drive to work, whatever it is, you know, somebody's got their stranglehold on you, and you hope that they loosen the grip so you can breathe once in a while, basically. And that could be unfortunate because, you know, you get to breathe once in a while. That means you get to stay alive for the next episode of their narcissistic behavior towards you, because you are there to be their supply. They can't go through life without somebody like you and me. And if we should kick the bucket or disappear, they're just going to find somebody else. Maybe, depends, but that'll definitely be their goal. Hell, they might have 5 or 6 people in the same position as you and I. You just don't know it. But there are things I do know now, that I do realize now. And that's what I want. I hope that we can all, you know, like as a community, as individuals in a community, help each other out. And I don't mean a socialist community. I mean just as spiritual beings that are in a human body, whose mission it is, whose purpose in life is to help other spiritual beings. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, I guess this video is probably long enough. I'll probably get in trouble by YouTube, but I'm used to getting in trouble, you know.